we're coming from. So setup wise, I say for a tall guy, you've got a real nice posture. The fact you stand the ball as well as you do, okay, it's always a good sign with a nice straight back, good angles over the golf ball. As you go to the top of the backswing, your arms tend to lift up here quite a bit. You're not really getting much depth there with that right hip, right shoulder's not really moving. And the club now at this point is quite close to your head there, so you haven't really sort of created much of a coil or a turn. And it almost looks as though your weight's kind of sort of moved a bit more sort of onto your toes there, not really getting much turn into this right heel, okay? As a result now, if you try to shallow the club and get the club working back this way, the only way you could do that now is your hips kind of going this way, which you're going to really struggle, and you're going to, as you say, stand up, early extend, all that kind of stuff, give yourself no room for your arms to go, okay? As a result, now your body has to kind of unwind. Even though you're coming back down, trying to feel like you're swinging from shallow, that club now through your right forearm for a 5-iron especially, that's really, really steep there, okay? And as you come in the golf ball here now, then you're going to be coming a lot steeper than you want to. Get the golf club striking the ball and then sort of trying to get out your own way. The old chicken wing comes through, as you see. As you're at the golf ball, then you're trying to sort of basically figure out where the club is and the angles and so on to impact, which is going to be very tough for you to do. So if we go to that kind of downswing position, this is just after takeaway now, so there's a smaller swing, so you've got a bit more depth with the club. Even though you're only swinging a 9-iron, your hands are further back behind you than you was with the 5-iron. Now from here, once your back is to target, or this hip is back here, do your best to, in some ways, just slow it down turning. It's going to unwind. You can't not do it, okay? You can even see the stick as you start bringing the golf club back down now. As you start unwinding, look at the difference in that club shaft position compared to your 5-iron, yeah? Now, the 5-iron's a longer club, and in theory should be swinging shallower, yeah, than a 9-iron or the 8-iron that you had there, okay? So the fact you're able to do that with this shorter club, so that the body staying back or the body unwinding being a bit delayed, club coming through your forearm there, nice. Now at this point here now, your hips are squared up, yeah? Now the shoulders are still slightly on that closed path as you come bend back through into impact. There's your strike of the golf ball now. You've got space for your arms to swing, and the body then can just unwind and rotate, that right shoulder working down and under nicely, and then through to a target position with the ball sort of down the right hand side with sort of fairly soft draw, just because of what your body has done. So the club working this way with the body unwinding slower, will unwind. It's not going to not unwind, but you're unwinding it slower. It's going to give you a much more of a shallower angle of attack. Change your path into the golf ball. That's the position we're trying to always look for there as you come back into the golf ball, is the club working down your right forearm. Whereas we can see in this case, obviously that club's a lot steeper. And then you've got to try to match things up to impact. And now you get pretty good at doing that. I mean, for 2 years or whatever you've been playing golf, you've figured out ways that you may not really know what necessarily you're doing, but you know if I do this or this or this or whatever, like little micromanagement movements, and you can fix the club face. The problem is just like 2 in 5 are good, the other 3 in 5 are where they're going to go. And as you know, golf has a way a bit of a sod that you can't miss it left. Where's it going to go? And if the bad shot's roll, you can't miss it right on this one. So if we can get the body working better, so rather than having this sort of, I mean, let's say compare the 2 backswings there, even with a shorter length backswing, yeah. That's a shorter backswing relative to your arms because you were doing sort of so-called chippy swings. You've got more depth with your arms there in that backswing than you have with the 5-iron. Yeah, so it just shows you're able to turn probably better than you thought. I think the issue was limited range of motion, quite stiff or whatever. But in reality, there's a definite movement there you can make. Get the body now turning better, and when you turn better, you've got to keep it back there, and allow that. If you find when you're doing this, a lot of shots sort of continually go out to the right-hand side, we might look at your grip or your left wrist movement during the swing, but I would just give that a bit of time to kind of sort of bed in and see what the results are. Ultimately, we're listening for kind of softer strikes of the mat, and the golf club coming from a softer angle, more kind of in this direction, rather than so steep and so far over the top. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so I have a few more shots then with that. I'll load this up and I will send it through to you now.